Welcome to another SkaredCast battle report. Today we are testing another Astronomicon Toronto mission, which is called Sink or Swim. There is this big dangerous terrain river in the middle of the field, and the mission objectives are table quarters, and to contest or control the table quarter you must have victory points in table quarters. Skimmers and jump infantry and jet bikes can ignore the river for purposes of movement, and any unit that goes to ground in the river will automatically have to take dangerous terrain tests. Okay, so today I will be playing Bob and his Tau. Senor Bob and his blue Tau. Once again, two fully painted armies, 1500 points. So Bob, what do we have in your army today?
Well, we'll start off with, I have 3 squads of 8 fire warriors and 1 squad of 6.
Yep.
This is my command squad here. They all have missile pods. The 2 have plasma rifles. The other has a cyclic ion blaster.
Yep.
They have 2 shield drones, and they've been upgraded to be able to target multiple people. And
target locks and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay, and shield drones?
Yeah, the 2 shield drones,
yep.
And the commander has a shield generator.
Fantastic. So he's right there.
Yep.
Okay.
I have my 2 hammerheads, which are equipped the same.
Yep.
Which is the disruption pods, the multi-tracker.
Railgun burst cannons.
Railguns, because railguns are awesome.
Second one, railguns burst cannons. Okay.
Okay, on the left there, I have my 3 crisis suits with twin-linked plasma rifles.
Okay, twin-link plasma.
And targeting arrays.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, no, not targeting arrays. They have black sun filters.
Oh, okay, black sun filters. Fantastic.
In the middle, I have my 2 Tetras.
2 Tetras. This is a forge rule unit. For everybody who doesn't know what they are, they're a very cheap Marker-Light system. It's basically 50 points for like 4 Marker-Lights that can move and shoot. So it's a fantastic little unit. And they come with the 4+ cover save out of 12 inches / ballistic skill 4 to start with. So
ballistic skill 3 to start with. It's a 5-point upgrade to give them 4.
So 5-point upgrade, but they're really, really useful. And if your store allows forge world, I would highly recommend them for any Tau player who wants to augment their forces. And lastly,
my 3 broadsides. They have advanced stabilization systems.
Move and
Team
shoot.
leader on the front with the orange shoulder pads has a drone controller and the targeting array so he can shoot at separate targets.
Fantastic. And 2 shield drones as well?
Target lock? Sorry, yes. 2 shield drones.
Okay, and on my end, 1500 points of Dark Eldar. For those who have not seen my army yet, I have an Archon with a retinue of Incubi and a Venom with dual cannons and Grizzly trophies, a 10-man warrior squad with a Lance and Blaster, 2 9-man witch squads with an Agonizer in Raiders with Flick Fields and Grizzly trophies, so that's 1 and 2. 5-man blaster warrior unit and a Venom with dual cannons, 2 3-man jet bike units with heat lances, 2 Ravagers with 3 lances and flicker fields, and 5 Scourge with 2 haywire blasters. Okay, so when we return, we will have deployed. Oh, the Tau deployed Hammerhead and Piranha and suits and all the fire warrior squads out in a line. And more suits, that's the command section, the broadsides, the hammerhead, the other Tetra. Now because I'm testing for tournaments, and because he has a lot more shooting than I do, and there's only really that to hide behind, I put my whole army into reserve, hoping to come on later in the game and contest and or take objectives, the table quarters, to keep them alive longer. Okay. And I'm using a new thing to film, so any feedback in regards to film quality would be greatly appreciated. So we decided to do Tau turn 1 and 2 together because nothing else was going to happen. So Devilfish moved there and back, Tetra moved up and back, and the same over here. So they're basically in the same spot as they were when they deployed, except the Tetras moved flat out and these guys moved up into that cover. Okay, so we'll roll for reserves on camera, of course. Alright, so I have 2 Ravagers, both show up. I have 2 units of jet bikes, none show up. 2 units of witches, both show up. The Incubi show up. The Blaster warrior unit in Venom shows up. The Scourge do not show up. Reserve showed up. This foot troop moved up and then ran 1 inch into the building. The Venom fired at those crisis suits, killed 1 shield drone, put a wound on 1 guy. The Raiders, 2 Witch Raiders and the Incubi Raiders, zoomed up 24 inches, ready to put a lot of pressure on his main gun line, and the Ravagers whiffed horribly. We had a Hammerhead move out and fire submunition to there, kill 1. We had the Fire Warriors be ineffectual. The Tetra was in range and hit this Raider. As you can see, there's no Raider, no Witches, because firing took out the Witches. The Venom also got knocked out, and all the Incubi died, and the Archon sitting with 1 wound on him and no more Shadow Fields. And this Witch Raider is completely fine. So we'll roll for reserves. I only have 3 things left to show up. I have 2 jet bike units. They both show up. And the Scourge. They show up. So I'm completely committed. We will return. They moved up and ran into a better position. They moved up and ran 6 inches into a better position. They zoomed up to threaten this flank. They zoomed up to threaten this flank over here. This Witch unit got out and charged the Firewars, the Broadsides, and the Hammerhead. Did nothing to Hammerhead. Wiped out both units here. So now they're sitting with 2 pain tokens, and they got a 6 for their consolidate. So they're just facing off over there. Both these units charged the Fire Warriors because I didn't get enough to tie them up, and then the Fire Warriors failed their morale and I ran them down. The pain token was randomly allocated to the Archon, and then they just kind of consolidated and are now going to get pounded to death. Fire moved up, shot these down to 1 man, and he's fleeing. They lost 1 man thanks to that, and they held. The Heat Lance is still alive. They moved back. The Fire Warriors and Fire Warriors in the building shot at that unit of Witches, killed 3, and they held. These warriors took a pounding and fell back, even with the reroll. The Archon died because he just died horribly. And so we're looking at the battlefield. Little overview. Scourge moved up and blew that Scare High with 1 glance and 1 pen. And so, 2nd game in a row that my Scourge have actually killed a tank, which is nice. He fell away. They shot at the Christ Suits and did nothing. These 2 jet bikes actually hit with the Heat Lance and stunned that, so can't move or shoot. And then they moved out of line of sight of that unit. Then I have that Raider who stopped that Hammerhead from shooting. And then this little contingent here focused fire on that unit, and although there were 2 left, they failed their test to run away and they fled. And then the Witches got their 3rd pain token by wiping out some Fire Warriors. They were too far away to get those guys, so then they consolidated back into cover, forcing that Tetra to shoot at them. Okay, so we'll be back. Tetra moved up, shot at the fire at the Witches. This moved across, that stayed still. We had them and the Plasma, Twin-Link Plasmas, and all the Fire Warriors fire into them and kill all but 1. So she's alive and well. Okay, and it's turn 5, so we could have some table quarters things coming up, so we'll see. They shuffled across to capture this objective. That Venom stayed in there to capture that objective, which are table quarters. These 2 Ravagers moved up to contest this table quarter, and shooting failed to do anything. That stayed in the table quarter just in case it goes to turn 6, and then it can move elsewhere, and failed to do anything. The lone crazy witch charged into the Christ Suits and did 1 wound, but she got killed down in return. The Scourge that were here lost 1 to Dangerous Terrain, moved up, fleeted, and then rolled the 6 inches to jump up that and wipe out those Fire Warriors. And then this Heat Lance hit for a 2nd time and killed this time that. So now we're going to roll. Bob, do you want to do the honors? We'll roll to see if the game continues on a 4-up, and it's done. So Dark Eldar hold 2 table quarters and contest 1 and 2, and that's it. Thank you so much, Bob, for the game. Any tactical notes that you would like to add at the end of the game?
Not especially. I still really enjoy my Plasma group, and Tetras are great for Tau players. It really makes your army more viable, as I found out. Because getting rid of cover saves, especially in this current edition, for the next however long it's out, it's great to take away the 4-up cover saves for people because you take them out a lot quicker.
Yeah, I also find that as soon as your ballistic skill goes above ballistic skill 3, the high strength shots really do help the Tau. On a tactical note for Dark Eldar, I got lucky on getting most of my reserves in the first 2 turns that I rolled for them. I was completely committed by turn 3. My Archon shorting out his Shadow Field, well, that happens more often than not. And even though I was able to move up here and sweep across and really put a lot of pressure on his main firebase. If I would have deployed, I maybe could have mitigated some of the damage, but I risked being knocked out of my rides off my 12-inch board edge instead of being able to move up. And against Tau, even a lowly warrior can win in combat sometimes. So you want to get them up as quickly as possible and charge them into combat. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Of course, you can follow the 40k Nation or myself on Twitter at 40k Nation and at Skari2. You can visit the 40k Nation website, www.40knation.com. This was filmed at the Gamers Lair in the Eternal Warriors chapter of Barrie, Ontario, Canada. And this is Skari. You can follow me on my blog, listen to my podcast at scar.podbean.com. Thanks a lot for watching, and as always, we try to bring you great content. See you next time. Bye-bye.